Let me know when.
It just switched it.
Oh boy. Let's see. Sign in. We're not still sharing my screen, are we? On.
No.
All right. Hold on, folks. Technical difficulties as per usual. Hold on. Okay. Let's see if I could log into YouTube. That would be nice too. Add account. Oh my Lord. Be with you in 1 second, folks. All right, here we go. Jordan Sheridan, live, Status Coup, Thursday, September 2013, 2021. A lot going on. This will be our shorter stream because today we'll be doing our Rokfin exclusive. Jen's going to be joining me in just a few minutes. Her kid just got off the bus. So smash the like button, share this with more people so we can get it out. Quite a lot going on in the land of coup. Quite a lot going on in the land of Status Coup. My head's exploding a little bit because I haven't really had time for most of it. But all good things. So better to be busy than bored, right? So I'll wait for a couple more people to come in. Boy, Colin, come on for a second. So Colin, have you been noticing that, I don't know, it's almost like YouTube has this magic lever that every so often, maybe give it 2 months or so, it's like a human being goes in a room, pulls a lever, and just tanks your entire channel, your viewership, your live viewership, your shorter video viewership, your subscribers. All of a sudden, you start losing subscribers every single day for no reason. You know, sometimes you'll lose subscribers. People unsubscribe because, you know, they don't agree with our opinion on whatever. And then there's periods where we're just losing subscribers every day. Like we're talking like 50 to 100 subscribers, seemingly for no reason, coupled with getting like 300 views in an hour on a channel with 121,000. I don't know, Colin. Maybe I'm more conspiratorial than you, but it's almost like it's being done purposely.
Yeah, and I think we had mentioned, or I talked to you about it before, of like it's even more noticeable depending on what words and stuff and what topics are actually in the video. You can actually see a difference, and you can definitely see because it would be even worse without the separate things we do, because as you guys know, we do text messages and things like that to alert you guys, and you can actually see it. Like I'll watch it and I get the notification when the text is sent out, and you could see if it wasn't for those alternate methods we have, the suppression would be way worse. You could actually see the jump in views and stuff after those alternate methods are used. So the suppression is even worse than what it looks like. We're just doing our best to counteract it and all that. So it's been pretty crazy to see.
Yeah. And, you know, some people might say, well, Jordan, you're losing subscribers because you're a sellout and all that. I don't know. I mean, I've noticed when we do topics like COVID or the vaccine, we lose subscribers that day. You know, okay. If you don't like our views on COVID or you know, delivering data and facts, that's fine. But these other days, I don't understand it. It also just doesn't make sense for a channel of 121. And by the way, I noticed it doesn't seem to be only our channel. It seems to be a lot of independent outlets. It doesn't really make sense to me why you would be getting 300 views in an hour for a video. And like important videos, like we just posted earlier today, a shorter video from our live interview yesterday with Mike Preisner, who's the Iraq war veteran, partner to Abby Martin, producer for the Empire Files, who just went viral. It was all over Reddit and other places for interrupting President George W. Bush's speech and basically calling him a war criminal. He got booted out. That went viral, yet we post a video with his name in the headline, and it gets 300 views. So it's just interesting, Colin. I don't know. We'll have to... I don't know if we need an academic study on this.
That one's even more obvious because the live we did with Mike in it yesterday did better than our other lives and had a lot of viewers coming in and out of it and newer viewers and stuff like that. And so the fact that the video with that same person.
Yeah. And by the way, we had a larger audience yesterday because of that interview with Mike Preisner, yet somehow still lost subscribers. Doesn't make sense. I won't go on forever about it. But doesn't make sense, which is honestly, Colin, you know, some people have been frustrated by it, but this is a large reason that we decided to start exclusive weekly live streams on Rokfin. Usually we go Wednesdays. This week we had to do Thursday. We decided to do weekly exclusive Rokfin streams because if you are trying to be like we're a company, we're not a charity, so we have to like make money to fund in the field reporting, you know, pay you, pay me, pay Jen, pay freelancers, equipment, whatever, the travel. It's basically suicide to only rely on YouTube these days because obviously what you see is what you get on YouTube. It's getting worse and worse, not just for us, but for a lot of others. So thankfully, Rokfin, our once a week exclusive, gives us a new source of revenue. I have reached out to Rokfin because I have heard, understandably, from a lot of Status Coup members that they're frustrated because, you know, they pay for Status Coup membership. By the way, if you could put it up, Colin, in a little over 2 hours will be our second members call of the month, double whammy. 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, 3:30 Pacific. It's a little earlier than normal, but for me, for Jen, particularly with the long haul COVID, and for me, just being an old man, we've been going sometimes to like 10:30 at night, East Coast, which is a little late for us and hopefully you. So we're starting it a little earlier. So last call, become a member in the next 2 hours. You'll get the link to the Zoom call. By the way, patrons also get the link for the Zoom calls. By the way, to members who have been ticked off about Rokfin, our Rokfin premium members do not get access to our members call. But for our members, we do get it's a kind of a double-edged sword here because on one end, Colin, we need to make extra revenue. We are getting a guaranteed amount from Rokfin every month that is pretty decent, pretty substantial. But on the other end, if it were me and I was just watching, I'd be like, wait a minute, I pay the $5 or $10 a month. Why am I not getting access to this once a week exclusive? So I get how you feel. It's kind of for us, like, what do you do? Honestly, the guarantee that we're getting from Rokfin for this once a week exclusive is way, way more than like anything we could make in a day on YouTube in terms of like super chats and advertising revenue. So for us, the key thing is the money's not coming from the banks, the fossil fuckers, big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley, the military industrial complex. As far as we could tell, Rokfin, you know, it's coming from good sources. I don't agree with all of the people that Rokfin platforms. Many of them I don't agree with, but whatever. I mean, it's a good platform so far. So it's this kind of tightrope between we need the extra revenue. Obviously, what you're seeing on YouTube, it's only going to get worse. So we need to build our audience elsewhere, gain revenue elsewhere. But I did reach out to Rokfin to see, at the very least, if we could take the weekly exclusive live stream and provide it for our members, our Status Coup members the next day. I don't know if they'd be okay with all of it, but at least like 50 to 70% of the exclusive on Rokfin for Status Coup members the next day. So I'm waiting to hear back from them because I don't want our members to feel left out in the woods. We do clip parts of the weekly Rokfin exclusive for YouTube the next day. So even if you cannot become a Rokfin premium member, we do clip parts of it. So at least you could see some of it the next day. Anyway, so there's a lot of public service announcements to make before we get to the quick topic we're going to do. And then we're going to move over to Rokfin. First public service announcement, already just told you, 2 hours till our members call. So I hope you could sign up. statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5. I think the members call tonight is going to be very exciting. I don't know, like any major announcements, but a couple stories we're working on that I haven't announced yet, but I'll share with members. Also tomorrow, busy day, in person. We'll be interviewing both of these individuals in person tomorrow. Make sure you're signed up for our text list so that you'll get a text when we're live with both of these interviews. I'll be interviewing India Walton. She is the Democratic nominee for mayor in Buffalo. She is a socialist, not a Democratic socialist, a socialist. There's been a lot of, you might be like, who cares? It's Buffalo. Trust me. There's been an insane amount of attempted rigging by the Democratic Party machine, even after she defeated the current corrupt Democratic mayor in the primary. That corrupt Democratic mayor, with all of his allies in the Democratic Party machine, have been still trying to get him on the ballot, even though he lost fair and square to India Walton. A judge ruled that he could be on the ballot under the third party Buffalo Party line, which was BS because he was literally filed to be for a third party. I mean, you can stay on Colin or you don't have to. Whatever you want.
Here.
Oh, there you go. He missed the deadline to run as a third party by 3 months. Yet a judge with ties to a real estate developer who funds Byron Brown, shocker, said he could be on the ballot, ruled he could be on the ballot. Then after that, an appeals court overturned that. So now the only way he could run is as a write-in candidate. But we're going to interview India Walton, not just about Buffalo, but about the progressive movement in general. So I'm looking forward to that. 10:30 in the morning, East Coast. So that's 7:30 a.m. Pacific. A little bit later, 12:30 p.m. So that's 9:30 a.m. We'll be interviewing, I don't know what else to call him other than a political prisoner, Stephen Donziger. I've interviewed him once or twice. Stephen Donziger is a human rights attorney. He heroically, on behalf of poisoned people in Ecuador in the Amazon, sued Chevron. Him and his partners won a $9 billion settlement, a $9 million case against Chevron for poisoning poor minority indigenous people in Ecuador, in the Amazon. And instead of paying the $9 billion, Chevron decided to go on a holy corporate crusade against Stephen Donziger. He's been under house arrest for over 2 years for the charge of a misdemeanor. What was that misdemeanor? For not handing over his laptops, phones, and other devices that have attorney-client privileged documents on it. He is being sentenced. He was just convicted of this misdemeanor. Sentencing is on October 1st. So we'll be interviewing tomorrow. Both these are in person, which I'm excited about. We'll be interviewing him on all of this. So definitely make sure, again, you're on our text list, statuscoup.com/text. I don't feel good about YouTube notifying you for either when we're live. Jen is here. Did I miss anything,
Hello,
Jen?
friends.
I've announced
I have no idea what you talked about.
I've announced the members call. I've announced the 2 interviews tomorrow. I feel like there's more going on, but I don't know. We're going to get into Rokfin too.
Yeah, so definitely join and check out our members call. It'll be in a little bit over 2 hours. Statuscoup.com/join. We have a hell of a lot to talk about. I'm enraged about a few things. Statuscoup.com/join. Just for members. People say that's worth the $5 a month on its own. Plus, you'll be funding our in-field and investigative reporting. For example, we're working on another investigative story now. So pretty pumped up about that. Determined to expose some truth. And then, yeah, definitely join us on our Rokfin Rokfin stream. That's next for around 4:30, only for Rokfin folks who join the premium Rokfin option. That option, Rokfin Premium, gives you access to every streamer's premium content. So you don't just get our specific Rokfin premium streams, but you get whatever premium stuff all those content creators are putting up. So pretty cool. And I'm really passionate about what we're talking about. All of you have seen Gabby Petito in the news. It's a horrible story. It's completely understandable why everybody was riveted in a horrified way, and why people want to bring justice to the top suspect at the moment. It looks to be like her fiance, Brian Laundrie. There are a lot of twists and turns in that case, but for a long time. So several months ago, I made a list of topics that I wanted to make sure we covered. And that has been a huge one. Not missing, women in general, although every missing woman, every missing person, every missing child deserves attention and deserves to be, lifted up in the media, deserves to have people searching for them. But it's long been the case that Indigenous women and children in particular, Black women and also men, and people of color in general, go missing or are murdered, and it doesn't even make a blip on the radar. In fact, in a lot of cases with Indigenous folks, it doesn't even get listed in the national databases when people go missing. So this has definitely been something that we've wanted to cover for a very long time, and the call to do that has never been more clear than now. So that's what we're going to discuss on the next stream. It is by no means the only time we're going to discuss missing and murdered Indigenous and people of color, Black people, but we're going to do kind of a deep dive and talk about some interesting things. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, let me just say, because a lot of people are touchy about this in terms of why comparing Gabby, why can't they both be awful? Listen, it's awful. I mean, it seems clear she was murdered. Her boyfriend's or fiance's on the run. I'm not saying it shouldn't be covered, but let's not pretend a large reason it is being covered. I mean, I hate to say it, she's an attractive young white girl. People might not know the full story, but I both interned at Fox News long ago and then worked at Fox News.
Natalie Holloway.
Maybe we can get into that on the members call, my experience at Fox News. Mm-hmm. The summer I interned at Fox News, it was 24/7 Natalie Holloway. Should Natalie Holloway have been covered? Absolutely. Is there a reason they covered her like that? Look at the ratings. Look at, frankly, young, attractive white woman. So this does not diminish the pain of Natalie Holloway's family, or that should have been covered, or the current pain of Gabby Petito, her
and
family.
Also Madeleine McCann.
Right.
And then you can go into the murder side, like John Benet Ramsey.
Right.
I've personally read literally every book ever written about the John Benet Ramsey case,
right.
But that paying attention to important cases cannot come at the exclusion of understanding that there's so many cases that are not brought to light and that are just as important. So yeah, my mug, people are mentioning my mug. It's one of my kids' mugs, Pokemon. Gotta catch them all.
But yeah, we are going to cover today, really, I think, as in-depth as we can. It's a long list of missing Indigenous women. I don't know if you have any missing African-American women on that list.
Yes.
So
men as well. Yeah, I have a lot of, it's going to be a really interesting stream because I have a lot of, I have some statistics to present to you in like an easily digestible way.
Right.
But also specific cases. And on top of that, I want to get into a personal story of mine that's horrifying to me.
Right.
I was raised in what I now consider to be a cult-like Christian environment. And when I was a very young teenager, we did something that I now view as horrifying and unforgivable on a specific Navajo reservation. So I'm going to talk more about that as well.
So, by the way, when you weren't here, I explained to our viewers that we're trying. I haven't heard back from Rokfin. We're trying to make it possible that We could post at least half of the Rokfin live stream the next day for our members, but we are trying to also grow on Rokfin. So definitely, if it's within your means, you could become a Rokfin premium member. That's $9.99 a month. Get our Rokfin show as well as others like Lee Camp. I think Graham Elwood. There's a lot of good content on their premium. And the good thing about Rokfin is you just don't have to worry about any form of censoring as far as topics, things like that.
There is also a lot of shitty content, so just stay away from that stuff and view the good stuff.
Correct. So yeah, we'll be live on Rokfin a little bit. This won't be the last thing we do because we definitely want to have on, Indigenous women. But I got just a quick story, Jen. It was short notice, but I reached out to a few Indigenous women to see if they could come on today. And one got back to me and they're literally can't because they're out searching for girls. Wow. So that's the kind of situation it is where they're not just like tweeting about it. It's such an epidemic that they're actively out there trying to find the missing girls. And trust me, they're not getting the same help that Gabby Petito's family is getting as far as FBI and state and federal resources. So that should be pointed out. So we've gone through the members call. We've gone through the interviews tomorrow. Jen, I wanted to do a quick story because it's just really, really infuriating if you ask me. So everybody here remember a guy named John Podesta?
Aha.
John Podesta, a Washington. You want to talk about the swamp? This is a swamp monster. He worked in Bill Clinton's administration. I don't remember the position. Maybe a senior advisor. Then he was Obama's, I believe, senior advisor. And then Hillary Clinton made him her campaign chairman. And John Podesta is as connected to the donors as they come. Yet the media always showered him with and slobbered all over him because he has that real skill of, sounding like he cares about the working class while, giving out political favors to
He's
the donors.
Also very astute at leaving his phone in taxis so people can hack into his emails and having his staff click on phishing links.
Right. This guy was so brilliant. Hillary Clinton only hired the smartest people. This guy was so brilliant that he thought as a strategy for Hillary Clinton's campaign, let's try to prop up Donald Trump, the Pied Piper strategy. So let's put into the media that he has a chance. Let's put into the media that his candidacy is a good thing. Let's try and prop up Donald Trump because he'll have no chance. Or if by shit chance he wins the nomination, Hillary will just walk into the White House because there will be no contest. That was the brilliance. John Podesta, Bill Clinton, Bubba was also behind that strategy. So John Podesta as Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, and the WikiLeaks emails also showed plenty of nefarious things led by John Podesta as Hillary's campaign chair. But obviously, no offense to, last place people at the swim meet, this would be like putting the last place person at the swim meet or last person runner in the track race. I don't know. And sending them to be the captain of the Olympics team. This guy led, whether you like her or not, on paper, she was the most accomplished candidate in recent history. I think accomplished for really bad things. But 2-1, Hillary Clinton outspent Donald Trump 2-1. She had all the endorsements all over the country. She had all the media in her pocket, despite them, giving Trump all that coverage. There was the emails and stuff, but the media really didn't, I don't think, go too tough on Hillary. And this man was so brilliant that he led a campaign of Hillary Clinton's to lose to a used car salesman, reality TV star. This is John Podesta. So clearly, this guy is a brilliant political mind. Clearly, he's got his pulse on the country that if you are paying attention now to the back and forth between the right-wing Republicans in the Democratic Party, Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, Josh Geitheimer, a whole lot of others, and the progressives, there's this battle royale going on We covered it yesterday, Jen, but at the moment, the progressives are holding firm that they will not vote on the $500 billion privatization on steroids bipartisan infrastructure deal. I just call it 500 billion because it's not really 1.2 trillion. It's 500 billion. That's all there is in new money. They're not going to vote for that if they don't get the 3.5 trillion reconciliation deal. I agree. We'll believe it when we see it, but it's good that they're holding firm now. So, of course, the New York Times just ran an urgent warning from the brilliant John Podesta. Colin, if you have it. The brilliant John Podesta, we need to hear about his urgent warning being that he successfully elected President Hillary Clinton. So Podesta warns Democrats, scale back the 3.5 trillion social policy bill or lose Congress. John Podesta, former chief of staff to President Bill Clinton and an influential figure among Democrats in Washington, called on lawmakers in his party. They didn't mention the former chair of Hillary Clinton's campaign in the opening. I wonder why. Called on lawmakers in his party on Wednesday to pare back a proposed 3.5 trillion social policy plan that carries much of Biden's domestic agenda. In a memo sent to every office of a Democratic member of Congress, Podesta, the founder and chair of the board of directors for the Center for Phony American Progress, phony inserted by me, implored moderates and progressives to, in dire terms, to bridge their differences on the bill. The party's disputes include tax increases, individual spending programs, and the total cost of a plan that would vastly expand the federal government's role in education, childcare, fighting climate change, blah, 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 blah. His message included a blunt call to progressives to accept a scaled-down price tag. Quote, the political reality is clear, given Democrats have no margin for error in the Senate and a limited margin in the House. We will not secure the full 3.5 trillion investment. It's time for Democrats to unite in finding the path forward. He went on to say, you are either getting both bills or neither, and the prospect of neither is unconscionable. It would signal a complete and utter failure of our democratic duty and a reckless abdication of our responsibility. It would define our generation's history and show that when our time came, we failed, both for Americans now and in the years to come. He went on to say, the historical trend makes it clear that Democrats will face severe headwinds next November, but nothing will guarantee a political reckoning faster than if Democrats fail to pass anything. You go, Jen, before I go off.
John Podesta would know a thing or two about losing, right? He's good at that. What he's not good at is figuring out like what's actually going on with the American people. He's also not good at caring what the American people need. So he's ready to give up essentially, or he wants those who are in a position to give up to do so readily. And he seems to be kind of upset almost that they're not signaling that they'll do that.
Absolutely. Hold on. So a few things. Isn't it ironic this guy's talking about failure? Isn't it interesting that the New York Times left out this was the campaign chairman for Hillary Clinton's campaign who lost to a fucking used car salesman reality TV star? Okay? Outspent the Donald 2-1. Can someone please explain this video title? It's being explained as we speak, Kate. John Podesta, Bill Clinton's chief of staff, Obama's senior advisor, president of the Center for Phony American Progress, partners with his henchwoman, Neera Tanden, failed, was a big Democratic Party machine guy as the Democrats over 10 years lost the majority of state houses, congressional seats under Obama. And the New York Times gives a leaked memo. I wonder who leaked it to the New York Times. Maybe John Podesta? His sage advice on how the Democrats could maintain their congressional or majorities in Congress. So let's kind of break this down quickly. You have basically a no-seat majority in the Senate. It's tied with Kamala Harris being the VP. Tiebreaker. Honestly, regardless of what the Dems do, they'll probably lose the Senate. So let's put the Senate aside. Then you have the House, which right now they have a 3 or 4 seat House majority. So I don't know. The New York Times I didn't read the whole article, but I'm pretty confident they probably didn't go through the actual polling of each policy in that 3.5 trillion reconciliation deal to show all of it. The overwhelming majority has majority support. So, it would be political suicide if you don't scale down this incredibly popular program, which, by the way, the 1.9 trillion program Biden did was incredibly popular, and his poll numbers went through the roof back then when they passed the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. So somehow watering down this legislation, and by the way, Jen, let's not pretend it's to save Congress. It's on behalf of the donors. They'd rather not lose the donors than lose Congress. They'd rather lose power because they can't stop the money train. And by the way, like Podesta, all these people, they're all consultants getting paid for this bullshit advice. So I just think it's incredible because you're saying the New York Times is leaking this loser and failures advice. You're saying this would be political suicide, yet this is Biden's agenda. So are you saying that Biden isn't smart? Are you saying the policies he thinks? Because I thought the whole thing was let's elect Biden because he's pragmatic and can get stuff done, whereas Bernie, is just an ideologue who can't actually move anything in Congress. So now the goalpost is moving to, oh no, yeah, Biden, yeah, he's still brilliant and can get a lot of things done, but we need to slash this in half. Why? To save Congress. What recent history tells you that if we vote on the $500 billion bipartisan infrastructure deal and slash the 3.5 trillion deal, my best guess, 1.5 trillion. Why would that save the Democratic Senate and House when you'd probably be stripping major climate proposals out? Forget the youth vote then. Forget the youth vote in the midterms, which you don't always get the youth vote in the first place. But in 2018, the youth came out in the midterms. And that's part of why Democrats won back the majority. In 2020, the youth certainly came out to elect this Republican Joe Biden. So I don't know, Jen, it just doesn't make sense to me why succumbing to Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, and the rest of the Chamber of Commerce Republicans within the Democratic Party, why watering down legislation would be the popular ticket to maintaining the House and Congress.
Keep going because I am sending Colin a title for Rokfin unless you want to do that.
Colin. All right, I'll keep going. I'm actually trying to finalize a guest that just came through for Rokfin. So anyway, it is amazing to me. It is amazing to me that this shit is printed in the New York Times, and I promise you, I'm not going to watch it because I'll be on my members call tonight. Colin put up the graphic. Members call in less than 2 hours now. StatusCoup.com/join. Second members call of the month. Hope you'll sign up. StatusCoup.com/join. Become a member for $5 a month. You'll get the link. It's through Zoom. We do it for our members. Also, if you're already a patron, you'll get the link too. Looking forward to that. We got a lot to talk about tonight. But it's just amazing to me because I don't even need to guess. CNN will be talking about this tonight. They might even have Podesta on. Maybe MSNBC will have Podesta on. And this is how manufacturing consent works because they're going to have this fucking failure on. They're not going to drill into the fact that, hey, John, no offense. Why should the Democrats listen to you? You just led Hillary Clinton into an epic defeat against a used car salesman. So why is your advice so wise? Give me a break. Give me a break. They're not going to say that to him. And they're not going to ask him or press any of these people on, well, why would you want to take out these proposals that are wildly popular? And why were many of you in support? You didn't vote on it, but you supported Trump's tax cuts, which were all blowing up the debt, which is bullshit because obviously modern monetary theory, we have the money for all of this. But it's just, they're going to let this guy go on the framing will be these economic political terrorists, progressives, and they're basically gonna convince mostly older neoliberal viewers that it's the progressives' fault, and these progressives, are not the adults in the room, and basically continue pushing this to the point where it'll be severely watered down. And my main points is why is in politics and media it's just one endless fail upward. If you are a failure who lied and was shown to have been wrong about the Iraq war, you get cushy jobs at MSNBC as an anchor, or you get to go on as a pundit on all the Sunday shows if you were wrong about the most disastrous war since Vietnam. If you, I don't know, if you've been wrong on politics, on elections, on climate catastrophe, on gentrification, on the pulse of the country, saying no to Medicare for all, even though it's got 70% support. Basically, the only way you succeed, it seems in journalism too, by the way, is if you're wrong or corrupt or neoliberal. And it's disgusting. And nobody should be listening to John Podesta about anything, okay? If they want to retire him into a nice home in Georgetown in D.C., that's fine. If they want to have him as a guest speaker at the DNC Christmas party and, at the donors' soirees with the caviar and champagne, that's fine. But I don't want to hear John Podesta on how the Democrats should save their majorities in Congress. Thank you, Reese. He has no integrity. And frankly, I'd like to see the progressives come out against this shit. Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Jamal Bowman, Cory Bush. It's the same exact thing Bernie should have done during the most recent presidential election. He should have turned around and said, wait a minute here. You want to run Hillary Clinton as a man? Sorry. This is who's going to beat Trump? The same person, only a different gender, that just lost to him 4 years ago? This guy's going to beat Trump? The guy who voted for the Iraq war and then pushed it after it was clearly a disaster? The guy who created mass incarceration? Well, modern history version of mass incarceration with the crime bill? Glass-Steagall, NAFTA? This guy's going to beat, because we just tried this. We just tried this with Hillary Clinton running the pragmatic choice, and it got us this guy as president. For some reason, progressives don't want to do that. They don't want to point out the insanity of running these neoliberal failures. By the way, Biden won by the skin of his teeth. If Trump did not badly mismanage COVID, it would have been a much, much different story. Let's face facts. So I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's not shocking to me. It's not shocking to me. And unfortunately, it's like deja vu. I don't know what you think, Jen.
Yeah, definitely deja vu. I mean, I'd love to be able to spend a lot more time on Podesta. He definitely deserves it. He's a real creep. Same old from that camp.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, so we'll have more on that because honestly, September 27th is the deadline. September 27th is the deadline or the self-imposed deadline for the infrastructure deal, which at this point, I couldn't predict what's going to happen. I don't know. I think that, frankly, progressives right now are holding the line. But from history, I'm not sure they won't bend to severely water this thing down and accept, I don't know, 2 to 2.5 trillion and say that's a victory. But I don't think that's a victory. I really don't. I think at some point you need to emphatically put your foot down, line in the sand, and say, no, we've already compromised. We called for 6 trillion. That is what we called for, and we're not compromising anymore. So we'll see what happens. We do need to move over to our exclusive Rokfin show. So hopefully, if you're a Rokfin member, we'll see you over there. If you're not, sign up, rokfin.com/statuscoup. You get our content on Rokfin as well as others like Lee Camp, Graham Elwood. I think Ron Placone's on there too. So we look forward to seeing you over there. We'll be doing a whole show on missing Indigenous women. So looking forward to that. And in about less than 2 hours will be our members call. So if you are a member, join us, spread the word.
Not just Indigenous. I don't know.
Oh, missing Indigenous women, as well as missing African-American women. So it'll be
And men.
Oh, and men. So
and children, etc. It's really sad and horrible.
Absolutely. So definitely sign up if you're a member. Spread the word for others to sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. We are bouncing out of here, and we will see you on our Rokfin stream in a little bit. Thanks for watching.